Hello, everybody. My name is Isabella Fumagalli. I'm 26 years old and I was born and raised in Guatemala. The reason I'm doing this interview is because I would like to communicate and everyone knows what is actually happening in Berlin. Everyone thinks that this city it's tolerant, it's full of acceptance and works for everybody. It's inclusive, but the truth it is not. This is a city that works for white cis gay men, and that's it, period. On the 29th of July, I was arrested by two police officers after I called them to report a crime against transphobia. I was night service in in establishment in the corner of the street where I live. I was verbally harassed. I was insulted. People were laughing at me. I was humiliated and they even spat in my direction. One of the men even tried to hold me, and the woman working in the establishment dragged me out and kicked the shit out of me when I denied to leave the establishment after she refused me service. So they told me to go home. I refused to do so, and what happened next is that they were threatening me with calling the police. Being the victim of the whole situation, I knew I was the one who had to call the police. Well, ended up being the other way around. I was the one who got arrested. And I'm pretty sure they didn't even file a complaint against transphobia for these people or the person who was working there that day. Before transitioning, when I used to identify myself as a gay man, I used to be a very submissive, calm, never spoke my feelings or my mind. Once I finally started loving myself and decided to transition, and with the power of hormones, I realized I have a voice. Sadly, this happens a lot here in Berlin when I'm in public transport or even in the street and I'm talking on the phone or with my friends. People always tell me to lower my tone. They tell me to control my voice, and personally, as a Latin American person, I can tell you that is not easy to do. And on top of that, I do have this voice that I have struggled all my life with. I never really liked my voice on recordings, and that has been a lot of insecurity for me. So it's really hard to accept now that I love myself, that I cannot freely express what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking without people being concerned about it and telling me to be quiet. During my past 11 years in Berlin, I can recall many stories of abuse, of discrimination, of harassment that I have personally experienced. On my first Pride in Berlin, I was actually dressed as a drag queen. I was doing drag queen because Christopher Street Day for me was before transitioning used to be like the day where Halloween or like the gay Christmas, right? When you actually unpack the wigs and it's okay to be you, right? That day I was dressed up, sorry, and I was out and I ended up going back to my hostel where I was leaving by myself. I was pretty drunk and it must have been around 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. I was supposed to catch a bus close to Gorlitzer Bahnhof while two men approached me asking me for cigarettes. I turned around to look into my bag and I wanted to give them cigarettes. Just to my surprise, by the time I turned around, there was a knife here in my neck. I got really scared, and I come from Guatemala, which is considered a dangerous place, but in my 18 years, I never experienced anything like that. So I was really shocked, and with the adrenaline of the moment and the alcohol, I overreacted. I started screaming for help, which, trust me, it's not a good idea. If you have a knife up through your throat, the best thing that you can do is just give them whatever they want and let them go. Sadly, I didn't knew this, so I thought that talking to them might like change their mind or something. So I tried, but they just tried to silence me. So they start beating me up to the point that I lost consciousness. Somebody found me naked in the street. They took my wig off. They took my clothes off. They actually cut me in the head. I had 16 stitches. I was in a coma for 4 days. And when I woke up, I literally found Lady Gaga, like all like wrapped in like bandage and stuff. I was like, what the fuck happened? The moment I saw myself in the mirror and removed the bandage, I understood how severe what happened to me was. And yeah, I was recovering. The staff in the hospital were extremely unfriendly to me. I couldn't reach my parents or the hostel where I was staying or my friends. I basically disappeared for 4 to 5 days. Nobody knew where I was. Nobody knew what happened to me until finally one nurse took a pity on me and she let me use her phone to log into Facebook where I could finally text my parents and the people from the hostel to tell them where I was. After that, the police, like I did went to the police station a couple of times to fill the report and like recognize people, but sadly we never were able to find anyone. So those two men, I believe, are still running in the city, probably doing bad things to other people. And this is a story I'm sharing today because I have spoke to it about it before, but never in a public interview. And I think this is the time. The reason I'm speaking loud nowadays is because I feel like I really gathered the courage, and I'm just sick of and tired of all the abuse and all the fucking treatment, and thinking that somehow Berlin is a safe space. It is not. It needs to be addressed that it's not a safe space. And this is the reason I'm making it public also. I have decided to leave Berlin for good after what happened to me right now with this situation at the Späti. I was never in 7 years refused service at any establishment, like in my entire life. So of course I was really outraged. I was so confused and full of rage. I was so mad, and the explanation that the Späti woman told me was that she was allowed to deny me service if she wanted to. I'm like, are these hospitality rules in Germany? Because if these are the hospitality rules in here, I'm sorry, but I'm moving to Greece, maybe. Like, they do know about hospitality in other places, but Berlin, for me, lately in the past years, has just become more and more dangerous, unwelcoming. The more I became okay with myself and start saying no to, how the system works and patriarchy, like I realized how much I was being slapped back. So I think it's been too long. After 7 years, I made the decision. I'm finally moving out for my own safety. Um, Sorry, like getting a bit emotional. um, Someone from the trans community was actually yesterday, the 4th of August of 2021. Someone from the trans community, this person got, someone pulled a gun on them outside a supermarket. I mean, are we living in a city where people actually carries guns to go to the supermarket? What's the need? What's the need? What we need here is change, no guns. What we need here is to speak up. What we need here is transparency. We're struggling. And after what happened to me last week with the police, like, I've been developing some really bad habits, having trouble sleeping. Um, so a friend handed me some Xanax, which I'm not proud to admit, but I'm starting to really like it because I feels it, at least it feels better than not feeling anything. Like this sense of calmness in my head. At least I find that safe space where my thoughts are not chasing me, where I don't feel the policeman touching me in this police station, where I don't see the eyes of these policewoman officers who denied to, when I was gonna be searched, I asked for a policewoman officer to do so, and they saw my ID and they asked me if I had performed any surgeries, and I told them, why is this relevant? They keep asking me, and they also keep calling me by my assigned name at birth, which I found really upsetting because my name is Isabella, regardless of what it says in my documents. And my genitals do not should display any kind of important role on who I am and who I identify as. Like, last time I checked, Germany respects gender identity and sexual orientation, as a human right. But for what I have experienced in my 7 years, I don't think they should carry that up so proudly as they do, because in my own experience, it is not how they portray it. And I think people need to know the truth. It's very painful. If this is the safest place right now on earth to be if you're queer, then I don't know what's expecting me once. I don't know what's waiting for me once I leave this city, but at least I gotta try, right? I'm sure I'm always gonna find beautiful people, but there's still always gonna be some bad ones around too. The important thing is what we do about it, how we manage to communicate, and which message are we sending to the world. Because body expression, art expression is like we're just being suppressed all the time. This demonstration that is taking place in front of the police station, I really hope the trans queer community here in Berlin can keep it up together. You guys are gonna need all the strength and all the help and all the support, and we're gonna need as much friends and allies as we can get, because it's not gonna get any easier. People tend to lose control once they see that they're losing control of things. Like, they actually lose control mentally and physically. So there is still a huge fight coming over, and demonstrating is what we can do. Talking about is what we can do. Being there for each other is what we can do. And listening and believing to the stories is the most important part. I also want to mention that I've been cyberbullied during these past days. It's been super hard because through all the shit that I'm already going on, I still have to deal with messages from queer people telling me how ridiculous I am, how dare to call myself a trans feminist activist. People have been questioning me and the way that I'm dealing with stuff, and it's just really painful, like, even in between us, we do not stand for each other, like, my parents and other members of my family and friends even questioned me with demonstrating and going to the police. People asked me why didn't I stood quiet once I was refused service. People asked me, why didn't you just walk away and went to the next door? Because, bitch, no. We cannot be keep refusing people and, closing doors at us. Like, they cannot keep doing this to us. It's unacceptable. I don't want to live in a world where my people are treated like this. And I hate to say my people, because we are all our people. We're all brothers and sisters. There shouldn't be our people, but sadly, it is how it is. Like, we trans people mostly are target. I don't know what's so scary about us. I don't know why people doesn't even take the chance to fall in love with us, to get to know us. We deserve it. We deserve love. We deserve respect. We deserve equality. What's so wrong about us? Because right now it feels like we're all fucked up, honestly. I know we're not, but at least I personally feel like there must be something wrong that I'm doing if I'm getting so much shit, right? I have a couple of questions I would like to make you think about, per se. Um, I'm not sure how familiar you are with what's happening in the political situation right now. I myself, I'm a bit unfamiliar with it, but like, based on the incidents from last week with the police, I did some research. There are upcoming elections just around the corner here in Berlin, and I have checked that the SPD party, the Green Party, and the Democrats have already included on their working schedule, on their agenda, police training for how to talk to queer people and trans people. which I can clearly say right now, those policemen need to be educated. They misgender me more than 3 times at least, not only by my pronouns, because I don't think they even know what a pronoun is. And if they do, they're certainly not using them properly. And also, when they search me, it was policemen officers who searched me, not even women. Next question. You want change. What are you doing for change? How do you know that you're doing something for change? Because just talking about it, as much as it has a positive impact, it's not the real solution. You have to be informed, and it's really important that if you have the chance, that if you are in the position of voting in order to make a difference, to educate these policemen and also the entire city, it's really essential that we as a queer community know what's going on in the government, because our votes matter is really important. I myself have been living here for 7 years, as I said, and I am familiar. I can sadly not vote, but I can, at least inform myself of what's going on. And we do need to address the government, ask these questions. What are they doing to make a change? Not because it only doesn't depend on us. We depend on politicians that are the heads of this country and basically the world, sadly, to make a change.